Here we go.
We are underway here with our second semifinal match here. It's going off to a slow start here. Both competitors appear to respect each other here. Looking to do a little mercy hand fighting here.
Pedro always looks so calm and relaxed in his matches. Nothing has changed in this one.
Pedro pulls guard here.
Playing a little reverse De La Hiva.
Nice easy pace here, but look for him to explode and attack. Looking to leg pummel here.
Seeing Pedro's first match, he's seemingly trying to attack the same ankle that was caught in an inside heel hook that looked pretty tight on Pedro. Pedro does not seem to even be threatened by it or even worried about the leg control. He just uses it to come on top. Anthony now feeds the leg across. Pedro's now trying to use that to pass.
Good guard retention here by Anthony. And we're back to our feet here. Back to hand fighting. Heavy collar tie here by Anthony. Pedro not phased and just sets the guard. Waiting for Anthony to come forward here. Playing kind of a loose De La Hiva here. Possibly trying to invert through using this De La Hiva hook.
Yep. K-guard.
Yep, using to try to isolate a leg. Anthony keeps his knee line way out of the picture. And now we've got a leg isolation here.
Pedro keeping that inside grip on the knee to try to separate those knees to try to keep his leg out of trouble. Set up his own leg attacks. Both guys look very comfortable in this position.
And we've got Anthony here riding a single. Pedro using that to counter to a leg entanglement.
Getting to that K-guard entry.
Looking to use the 50-50 coming up into a potential saddle here. Anthony keeping his knee lines clear.
A nice bite on Anthony's left ankle. Could be looking for a steamer lock. Could be looking for a straight foot lock on that outside.
Anthony's right leg is still kind of wedged underneath here. Okay, we've got an open position here. Looks like Anthony coming back on top. Trying to find a path to pass the guard of Pedro Serrano here.
Pedro almost just leaving those legs dangling, asking Anthony to take them. Looking not threatened at all by the guard pass. About 7 minutes left in this match. A kind of slow, methodical pace to start. Both guys looking to attack, but not overcommitting.
Anthony doing a good job staying heavy, not letting Pedro get the leg entanglements he's looking for. Pedro looking to use this half butterfly here, trying to use the arm lock to get his weight forward. Anthony smart keeping his weight back.
Anthony trying to isolate that foot from a standing foot lock.
Trying to kiss of the dragon here, possibly far side entry into the saddle. We are in the saddle entry. It looks like Anthony frantically trying to escape his knee line here.
Pedro start to isolate the heel.
It looks like his knee line is kind of hard to tell from here.
Looks like it's still in, but it looks like his leg is not. No, there's no heel exposure. Pedro's trying to pull the leg back in.
Much better position
Looking for
here.
a steamer lock, it looks like.
Looking for a tightest steamer lock here. Both guys seem to be very savvy to the leg game. Good leg lock exchanges here.
Trying to use that steamer to pull the opposite leg back in, set up that saddle. Sneaky way to make Anthony think about one attack and attack the other leg. Anthony keeps attacking Pedro's left leg, or right leg, I'm sorry. I think he saw that first fight and knows there was some pressure put on that foot.
Oh, deep saddle entry here, potentially. Oh, he's trying to counter Bolo here. He's trying to counter Bolo, going for a toe hold here.
Now there's a back exposure from Pedro.
The back exposure.
Pedro's going to ride that back in.
Right to the mount position. And this is where he found himself in his first match here. This is a position he knows that he can put the pressure, a position that he's comfortable in.
He has plenty of time, about 5.5 minutes left. So there's plenty of time to look, to isolate the arm, take the back, and the arm triangle.
Anthony trying to really get some frames, try to possibly recover anything that he can here.
Pedro
giving the slight back exposure. Pedro takes the back exposure there.
Now we might see a face crush.
We got
Right arm is coming across the chin.
We got the figure four.
He may go.
It's wrapped around tight. It looks to have the figure four in. Looks to be tight. Oh, it's fighting the hands.
Does not need to be under the neck to get the tap here.
Looks to be frantically fighting the hands. Hard to see from where we're at. Looks like Anthony has fought the hand successfully. Is free for now from the submission.
They're right in front of us. It looks like Anthony's got to a somewhat safer position. The back is still set. Shooting that right arm under the chin, trying to finish. Anthony doing a good job trying to keep his neck and head free. Pedro has a lot of time to work, over 4 minutes left.
Doing a good job maintaining this back control here.
Just looks like methodical side-to-side attacks from Pedro, going from one arm to the other, just trying to get that neck exposed. We're going to reset in the middle from that back body triangle position as they're about to run into the commentator spot. About 3:45 left in the match.
Pedro Serrano here finding himself in this body triangle position. Anthony getting a chance to feel this before potentially going into overtime, getting a feel for Pedro Serrano's back control.
Pedro's doing such a good job with that body triangle. Anthony really can't get any angle on his hips. He's just kind of stuck hand fighting.
Switching sides on the body triangle here. Going side to side. Anthony really trying to fight the hands here, trying to desperately get his back to the mat, but the body triangle is keeping such control of his upper body and his hips.
3 minutes.
Pedro now starting to walk the legs up a little bit, try to isolate arms. Looking to open up a little bit. Anthony's still doing a good job hand fighting, not giving up any space.
Looks to have an arm trapped here potentially.
Mm-hmm. Right arm is trapped.
Right arm's trapped and spinning through. Right to Williams guard though. Pedro already attacking here, going for omoplata. Really nice defense and using it right away to get into his own saddle entry.
We've seen a lot of good
And he's locked here in the saddle. And Pedro Serrano wisely comes up on top, spins through, and is now in smash senkaku. Going right away, wide entry going into the double outside, trying to sit through here for the saddle. Pedro wise to that, clearing his knee line, and using it now to set up a pass attempt here. Pedro's knee line is still clear from the saddle here. Both these guys doing lots and lots of leg exchanges here, very high level jiu-jitsu.
We're into about the 1.5 point in this fight. And this is that point where guys have to kind of decide on their strategy. Are you trying to finish the fight before regulation or save energy for overtime?
Both these guys appear to be hunting submissions like they want to finish in regulation, which is what everyone wants to see.
Especially after the long fight Pedro had in his first round, you know he does not want another drawn-out overtime. But Anthony's doing a good job of not letting him get to that submission. Again, the mount, back exposures. Pedro has about a minute left from this mount position. He has plenty of time to get that arm triangle or the back, but Anthony's doing a good job of just not giving him that submission.
1 minute.
We have 1 minute left. I think we're going to reset in the mount in the center. Pedro has that arm isolated. He does not have a lot of time to work in regulation, so if he's going to go for this submission, he needs to kind of push the pace right now.
Anthony trying to bridge here.
Pedro might be looking for an armbar / mounted triangle.
Pedro looked like he's hunting this submission.
Yeah.
Despite being less than a minute left, it looks like Pedro's still wanting to finish the fight.
He's got about 20 seconds to finish.
Going
Right
nice leg entry here, going straight into a nice knee bar.
And it looks
Looking to try to get some leg isolation here and a counter leg lock entry here from Anthony on Pedro. And we are
Hit the end of regulation. So we have another overtime for Pedro.
It's the most valuable quarter you've ever had.
So Anthony wins the toss and opts to attack the back in the first round. And we start our first round. Again, body triangle attempt right away. Pedro doing a good job not letting the full body triangle get locked in. Something we haven't seen in all the overtime rounds. Anthony's trying to dig that arm under the neck. He was opting to attack the neck more than the body triangle.
Hard to see what's going on from over
Almost
here.
gets the shoulders free.
Pedro desperately trying to escape here, trying to wiggle free.
Anthony was now able to lock the body triangle, which is going to make the escape a little bit harder for Pedro. Pedro going side to side to try to get those shoulders off. He's able to get his head to the floor inside of Anthony's, which is a better option, but the body triangle is saving Anthony's position. Pedro's going to probably try to use his free foot to try to clear that. Start setting up the escape. He's able to now get the wedge the foot inside or the knee inside. Try to turn back over and make it a guard position, but he's not able to get that hip angle.
Pedro trying to spin and find himself back in the body triangle position here.
Both of these guys are kind of long and lanky for 145, so they both have those long legs that can make the body triangle very, very hard to deal with. We are past 1 minute of ride time for Anthony Arnal, so he's doing a great job with the control.
You're reaching the out of bounds area here.
Anthony's
And it
now
looks as
under the
though
chin,
possibly
but
under the
Pedro's
chin.
able to just peel the arm, pushing it free, get it off his neck.
Really good exchanges here.
Right, over 90 seconds of ride time for Anthony, so he's doing a good job with that control. They're almost wedged there up against the wall. There's only 10 seconds left of this overtime period. Pedro looks to be able to make it.
4, 3, 2, 1. Time.
But that is time. So 2 minutes of ride time for Anthony Arnal. Pedro will now be attacking his back.
So 1 round of full riding time here. Lots of time on the mat here for Pedro.
Pedro right away goes to the body triangle. Now we'll start trying to free the arm position and start setting up the choke.
Both guys opting for body triangles.
Pedro seemingly getting his right arm somewhat under the chin. It's hard to see from our vantage point how deep the right arm is. Switches the body triangle.
Anthony bridging here, looking to have some haste in his movement here. Kind of hard to see the hand fighting from this position.
Pedro's right arm is under the chin, but his left arm is isolated. So it's hard for him to connect hands at this point. Now he switches sides to the opposite side. Seatbelt.
Pedro
Pedro's use of the
following
body
him.
triangle has been phenomenal in both this match and his first attack overtime situations with Jesus. It's hard to get any space against him.
Very tight position to escape from here.
He seemingly has a very high body triangle, which I think gives him more waist control. He's already up to a minute of the ride time. He's trying to switch sides, both the body triangle and the seatbelt, to try to set up that choke, but Anthony's not giving me any free space to get under the chin or around the neck. Almost up to 90 seconds of ride time, so there'll only be about 30 seconds left in this overtime round. We may be looking for another kind of long drawn out overtime war like we had in Pedro's first round matchup. Pedro doing a really good job keeping his head lower than Anthony's to not allow Anthony to create those angles to either side for an escape. Short time left in this round. It looks like we're going to hit another ride time, and we do. So both guys have a full 2 minutes of ride time and the first overtime period. We'll see if anyone opts to go to a spider web or a different strategy. But it looks like we are going to a second round of the back control for Anthony Arnal. We're getting set in position. And right away, he's looking to put that body triangle in.
It's the game of the body triangle. Seems to be the theme of the day here.
Yep. It will be interesting to see if either guy changes strategies in the second go, as they both had 2 minutes of control and ride time.
Oh, it looks hard to tell, but it looks like might be setting up a choke here. Can't see what's going on. Pedro looks to be aggressively fighting the hands here, trying to get deep under the elbow. Looks to be free from the choke.
Head is free.
Looks to be free from the choke. Potentially going to an armbar from here.
I think Pedro's almost trying to get Anthony to go for the armbar, almost baiting it so that he will give up his control.
Getting right back here into the body triangle.
Anthony has a right arm under Pedro's chin, not fully locked hands, but Pedro's actually uses it to try to explode through. But Anthony's able to use that body triangle to ride him back through onto the top position. It looks to me that Pedro's trying to escape a little bit more feverishly the second overtime round than he did in the first. Now that he's kind of felt what Anthony has. And probably not wanting to be in the back control for the full 2 minutes. But Anthony doing a really good job not giving Pedro any space or any breathers from here. This is going to be a very, very even and long overtime round, it seems.
Still
We're
trying
already up to 90 seconds of ride time for Anthony. So if Pedro escapes now, he still has a lot of ride time that he has to deal with. Anthony trying to pull that arm up to try to get some isolation on that shoulder. This is a new strategy we did not see in the first overtime round, but it seemed to upset Pedro a little bit. Not enough to really create a big reaction or a submission. We're under 10 seconds left, so we're going to hit the end of this ride time in our second overtime round for Anthony.
Time.
And just like in Pedro's first matchup, win or lose, he's going to be in. He's had so much mat time. This is going to be very interesting to see how his cardio plays out in the rest of this overtime. And the finals, if he makes it. Anthony had a much shorter first round match. He should be feeling a little bit more energized in this round.
trying to desperately go back, trying to get his back to the mat right away before the body triangle comes in, but
Pedro looks to have a little bit of connection on his hands under the neck. He may be able to get the submission here.
Pedro really looking to aggressively fight for submissions here.
But Anthony's able to clear those hands and clear that arm again. Pedro's body triangle is incredibly tight. Just does not give you any space to move.
Continuing on this body triangle here. Ooh, it looks to be still on the back here. Potentially looked like Anthony could have maybe escaped there for a second, but Pedro right away getting onto the back.
Neither competitor giving each other any space in this back position. We may be getting to a point where we're going to have another full ride time. We're already about halfway through this round. Again, neither guy looks to be changing their style or their strategy very drastically. Both are working very hard, but both are kind of negating each other. And as I say that, Pedro may have the strength line.
Pedro really going to attack hard.
He may
Ooh,
lose
and
the
he is
position,
out.
and he does.
Went hard for the submission, but
And that was 1 minute and 15 seconds or so of ride time for Pedro. So now Anthony has a about 45-second lead in the ride time. So this will be a very interesting now because the ride time advantage is there for Anthony. So Pedro has to push the pace a little bit defensively or he can just get ridden out. And Anthony obviously knows he is winning that ride time battle. So it's going to be interesting to see if he tries to really go for the fight or just tries to continue his ride time lead.
it's a lot of times you see, people want to go for the kill, but unfortunately sometimes when you go for the kill, you sacrifice losing position, and in that situation it ended up biting him. But props for going for the finish there. It looked like he had a tight bite, but Anthony was able to wiggle his way out and escape the position.
Pedro definitely opening his body up a little bit, reaching his arms back to try to create some space. But Anthony is not giving up that body triangle and that control. already 1 minute of right time in this round for Anthony. His back control is just like so solid all 3 rounds. Started.
Pedro really trying to get his back to the mat, trying to escape, and that's time.
So now Pedro has 1 overtime left to try to finish the fight here. If he does not finish, Anthony will win on the right time. He has to have 1 minute and 12 to finish this submission. If he does
Expect
not,
to see
Anthony
some
wins.
aggression here. He's going to really be trying to hunt this submission, having just a little over a minute here to work.
Pedro seems to have some squeeze pressure on Anthony's neck.
Could definitely see the intensity here picking up by Pedro, really trying to aggressively get this submission.
I guess we're going to see some face cranking, some forearms across the mouth and nose. You know, every little trick, every little piece of pressure you can to try to get the finish. But Anthony knows if he just does not allow that choke to get set, he will be in the finals and fighting for $2,000 against Alex Hody. This has to bode well for Alex, watching these two guys really grind on each other in the semifinals after he had a tough but much shorter match with Joey. We have about 30 seconds left of the right time. If Pedro does not get the submission, Anthony will win.
Anthony doing a good job defending here. Pedro really trying to hunt this submission, trying to find his opening here, but Anthony doing a really good job fighting the hands, getting on.
He has a face crank.
He got the hand across the face here.
Less than 10 seconds left to finish it before the right time.
And Pedro really looking to try to get an angle, but Anthony fighting the hands here.
Time.
And that is time. And Anthony will move on here to the finals.
Moves on by ride time. This has to be a little bit of an upset as Pedro is the 2-time Midwest Finishers champion previously. But Anthony's able to take it.